On this video, I'm going to be talking about getting my sweet potatoes started. So there are two types of sweet potatoes that I like to grow. One here is that I got from my dad. He grew these last year. These are Georgia Jets, and they don't seem to be quite as vigorous as the white ones here. So I like to primarily grow majority of them are these kind of yellowish skinned with a white interior. I don't know the exact variety that this one is. I got it at the grocery store a couple years ago and have grown it out. Seems to do really well and be very productive. So I try to grow the majority of my sweet potatoes as the white ones, but it's nice to have some orange ones as well, orange fleshed ones, so that they give, there's a lot more nutrients in there as far as the phytochemicals and things like that from the orange ones. So you can see this one's got some pretty long sprouts on here, and so basically what you want to do is be able to just break these off. And so you just kind of grab it near the right next to the potato there and just kind of rotate it and break it off. And these root very easily, so there's no need to try to dig into the potato or anything like that. All the mechanisms for getting them for the rooting part are built right in, so you don't even need a rooting hormone or anything like that. They root very easily. So I put them down usually a couple inches from the bottom of whatever pot I'm using. Doesn't have to be very exact like that. And then as they get too big, I just go ahead and just find a node here. A node is a place where a leaf is coming out, and I'll usually just break that off and then put that back into the pot, so I have two of them then. So I have just here a pot that is mostly filled with peat moss and compost and a little bit of native soil here. And so I'm going to go ahead and just put this in. I'm going to dig a hole and then try to get it covered in as much as possible here. Kind of bury it down fairly deep. Kind of see how far it kind of sticks out. I'm going to do a bunch of these in this pot. This is probably the only pot I use unless I get too many packed in here and I decide I want another pot going, or I start breaking them off and propagating them. So I can go down here to a leaf node that's sticking out here, and it's also got what's called like a little sucker coming up. I'll just do a little cut right there like that. So that'll grow up from that position, go on up, and then I have another one here that I can then bury. Make a little hole and just put him down fairly far. So you just kind of space them out every inch or 2 inches or something like that. Doesn't need to be terribly critical. And then for a potato like this, where it is got some just real smaller ones, so you just want to break it off right like that. And then we'll get these buried in there. So we'll break off as many as we can here. And the rest are kind of too small here yet to really do much with. So we'll get these buried. Here's a nice one here. Try not to damage the leaves like I just did. Let's get a little bit of the leaves outside there, and this other one, there's two of them here, and this one is on the left here is a little bit too small. So we'll just not use him. And put that down like that. If they're curved like these two are, just make sure the top part is going up and the other part underneath the soil is kind of going horizontal. Sometimes you'll get some that won't take, but for the most of them will sprout like that. So just keep the soil moist and they should usually do fairly well. So go ahead and plant a few more of the white ones here. And since I kind of know how long I want, this one is, I could probably just stay the way it is. It's not that terribly long here, so find a little place over here for it to go. Dig a little hole for it, push it down fairly far. It might be a little bit too long. You have to kind of decide for every one. It's probably all right. We'll let it get a little taller before we cut it off here. Okay, this one definitely is going to be a little bit too long, so let's go ahead and just take it off at this node here. Cut that off, so now we have two of them here. Nice and deep in there. Deeper you go, it means more roots can get established. Kind of like planting a tomato plant deep. These will root all along at every node. There's actually little bumps along there where they're trying to actually root. So if you're going to be having them here in the house, you'll need a good overhead light to give them good light so that they don't get too lanky and looking for light and stretched out, and they also don't be as healthy. They need light in order to grow. So make sure you have good light, and then I'm going to go stick mine out in the greenhouse so they have good warmth of light during the day, and if it starts to get more freezing at night, I'll go ahead and bring them in at night. And so there's just a few sensitive plants. These are one of them that won't take a freeze if the air temperature out in the greenhouse gets below freezing at night. So I'll just kind of watch the weather report. If it's getting down in the 40s, I probably won't bother. Or 30, 38 or something like that, they should be fine. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing here, and it seems to be working fairly well for me. So hope that it helps you to keep it fairly simple. Just be able to break these off, get them started. You don't have to plant the whole potato. This way they're spaced out a little bit better, and you tend to get bigger plants by using these things, which are called slips. You can buy them commercially, but they're a little bit of a challenge to get them over to the West Coast here, because they're a lot of times are grown down south, so they have a long trip, and sometimes they don't always survive. So just doing your own is very easy. Just let your sweet potatoes sit around and let them sprout in the spring or close to the springtime. And so anyway, I hope that encourages you to try some sweet potatoes this year. It's fairly easy to do. All right, I will see you on the next video. God bless.